Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Getting down with Fresh Out and another Prison Talk. A viewer emailed and asked, who was the most organized in prison? Well, the most organized right off the top are the guards and the warden, because they're able to keep thousands of men under confinement. Therefore, they have to be the most organized if that structure works. But as far as the inmates in prison, the most organized are the Mexicans. And that comes from interviewing guards from across the country, different ex-inmates from across the country, talking about the structure in those penitentiaries and how the different races got down. Mexicans, they might be separated in a sense where you have the various cliques, and those different cliques might have internal beefs with each other, especially within California. And they also have, these beefs in different parts of the states, but when it comes to organizing against a particular race, they come together. Having talked to guys who have done time on the East Coast, the Midwest, they all say the same thing, that they have a structure, and when it needs to unite, they know how to do so. You don't have that within the blacks like that. The whites try to somewhat. They have a structure that is also set with certain rules, but the Mexicans, how they handle their business is on next level. And you could just go through the interviews of Mexican guys I've interviewed and recognize through the conversation, and you can also hear from black guys who have done time with Mexicans tell you that Mexicans are more organized. They just got a certain structure, man. It's just the way they handle business, checking in certain aspects of their car. Blacks is a lot of dissension. You have people from different areas separated by that, different states, different hoods, different cities, and you're not going to see, certain blacks come together if they don't feel it's their clique's business, or they're dealing with that particular group of people. Even if they are black, they're not going to come together like that. And that's one of the big differences. And you see that even on the streets, and why the blacks aren't as organized in business as Mexicans, because there's no structure. There's no hierarchy or respect when it comes to who's running what. In the streets, when you see, whether it's the paisas with the vending carts, the food tents, the food trucks, they shit is organized. And they're on certain corners, certain times of the day, consistently. You don't see that with the blacks, man. And these particular, Mexican vendors, even on the street, they to a sense, are protected. If another Mexican was to rob them, where we get around real quick and that shit will be handled. You don't have them having to worry about somebody jacking them because they fall under a structure. As far as like you see in the blacks get down, you don't see it. You don't see it like that. I mean, maybe in certain cities you might see certain black vendors operating, but you turn around and you see, just like what happened in Chicago over Mexican Independence Day, and it's always some bullshit behind it, and the organization and respect is not there at the same level. The Mexican, and I grew up around a lot of Mexicans, and the structure as far as family, the grandmother, the grandfather, the dad, there's a level of respect. The younger kids coming up, they know that there's certain things they're not gonna do to disrespect their elders. There's just a way that when you have uncles and other family members come over, everybody comes together. Now, black culture has that, but not at the same level. Not at the same level of respect or structure. And when you talk about trying to build a big business on the street, a lot of times ego comes into place, jealousy, a lot of haterism, and these are mentalities that are generational. Mexican culture, I've seen how they come together, start mechanic shops, different garment businesses, just different, whether it's, and they have a tie to a country outside the United States where they feel they have this united sense of culture. Most of the Mexicans who have immigrated here, second, third generation, they still have family in Mexico, so they have that sense of connection, which gives them a sense of pride and also unity among each other. And they come over here and they feel like they work to earn what they have. So they're not. I very rarely have heard any of my Mexican homies talking about being a victim. There's no victim mentality. I haven't heard it. I haven't seen it. And you go in a penitentiary, they got their shit together, and you're almost, if you're a Mexican, you're kind of almost pulled into a certain type of behavior, and it takes a strong individual to not have to ride that particular program. But out of all the different races in prison, and just for wordplay, we're using races. I don't really buy into all that bullshit, but for what it is and for the viewer, the Mexicans are the most organized, and then probably second you would have to say the whites, and then the blacks you would have to say last. Yeah, they have organizations, but there's everybody separated. I've very rarely seen where you can have multiple black hoods come together. And I'm just saying, just look at all the videos, listen to people talking, and you'll get it from them that they'll come together and unite for a common front. Very rarely. It does happen, but it's not like what you would see when it comes to some of the other races. And it's the same mentality when you look on the street. United, blacks are divided. You look at the Mexicans, they winning in a lot of aspects. They pass down family businesses. They come over here, they working hard, and a lot of them have legally become citizens, earning their keep, bringing over other family members to build businesses, to do different things. They have a structure that's even with the quinceañera, they have a coming of age in their culture that they celebrate. These type of things create a family structure, a unit, and everybody puts into that. I don't see any quinceañeras, any of that stuff for the black culture. And just as far as the united front or even the support you would have from other family members in the black family, it's not as strong as what you see, what I've seen in the Mexican families. I'm just being 100. I've seen some of these families have quinceañeras, and it could be close to 50, 100 people there, and everybody's having a good time. They're celebrating, and it's a blessing for the family. But we as the black culture, there's a sense of just anger towards each other and lack of respect, and you won't see the young Mexicans, as far as youngsters, run around disrespecting their elders like they do in the black culture. So, hey, Big Herc 916, hope I answered.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in.
With Fresh Out Ministries, we're doing a new program where we're doing a takeover of a mom pop cafe or restaurant, and we're doing a pay it forward. So we're going to offer free meals at this particular restaurant or cafe, mom pop, for a certain amount of time, and we are asking that you make a donation to pay it forward so that we can continue doing this program for other mom pop restaurants and cafes, because we know that it's hard times out here. You have a lot of people that talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And so we're actually walking the walk. We've been doing it for over 11 years on social media. We've been getting shadow banned. We've been getting demonetized. So we want to give back, and this is our way of giving back to helping everybody through these trying times with this economy. A lot of churches, they got $100 billion, and you don't see them out here helping the people who are in times of need, but they're still taking in the form of donations. But how's it helping the community? We want to build a community sense where we help each other. We can all overcome. You can't sit around waiting for somebody to save you. You got to save yourself. And this is the way you do it. So by us being able to do these takeovers with Fresh Out Ministries, with the mom pop restaurants and cafes, we want to be able to film, talk to you guys, get your feedback on what's going on right now in society. Hopefully you guys find it in your heart to donate. This donation, which is a pay it forward, will allow us to do other mom pops around the country eventually. But right now we're going to be in Southern California and Los Angeles, Orange County. So hey, reach out to your local businesses there. And if you are out of town in another area and you would like us to come there, if you provide the necessary means, we will come there also and do the same pay it forward. But right now, hey, if you're in locally in Los Angeles, Orange County, hit us up, freshoutseries@gmail.com. You can also make a donation on our link tree on our Instagram at Fresh Out Series.